What's up, YouTube? How you guys doing? If you guys are brand new here, you guys don't know what we do. You watch scary and creepy videos that's gonna make us question everything. Seekers, let's do what we do best. Let's seek the truth.
Of a McDonald's ice cream drip tray taken in Louisiana. It's covered with slimy filth.
I couldn't believe my eyes. I was like, I've never seen something this disgusting.
This guy used to work at the McDonald's, but says he got canned after posting the photos online.
I asked my manager, I said, when's the last time y'all cleaned this? And she said, hurry up and bring it to the back before a customer sees it.
Well, we wanted to know just how sanitary is your soft serve ice cream and yogurt, so we did some testing. We took samples from 40 places in the Seattle area, from fast food chains to independent shops, and then had them tested for bacteria. 9 out of 40 samples had elevated levels of coliform, a critical indicator of an unsanitary condition which by itself does not necessarily cause illness.
As a consumer, I would expect that my ice cream to be coliform free. It would certainly be an indication to the restaurant that they ought to investigate their sanitary procedures.
Follow me, take you to know the latest real-time hot news.
That was crazy. What is that? Looks like a whole UFO floating in the sky.
What they're saying that Amy Eskridge mysteriously discovered before she died is true, and we are cooked. We all know that Amy Eskridge is one of those scientists that is now dead. She was connected to advanced aerospace research, and now her name is being tied to one of the most disturbing alien theories out there. And what I'm about to say might scare you, but maybe this is the reason she's not here right now. The theory says that what people think are aliens might not be aliens. They may actually be humans from the future. You heard what I just said?
Yep.
Not visitors from another planet, not creatures from another galaxy. Aliens that we think are aliens may be humans from the future. So according to the theory, there are future human groups called P-47s and P-52s, meaning they're humans from tens of thousands of years ahead. The claim is that some catastrophic event forces humanity underground for thousands of years, and after that long time without sunlight, humans will supposedly, allegedly, evolve differently. Pale skin, smaller bodies, no hair. And what does that sound like? The same description that people have been given of great aliens for decades. And that's why this theory is hitting people so hard, because it flips the whole alien conversation upside down. It says maybe they're not coming from outer space. Maybe they're coming from what happens to us later on. We have about 15 scientists missing in the United States. They also said that 9 scientists were either missing or deceased in China. What's really going on? They know something. Pay attention.
They really do, man. Like I said, at first, that great alien theory, and I just saw a couple of clips about that. Kind of wasn't lining up, but when they say they come from other ground, it hit me, man. Like I said, because once again, there was a couple clips of talking about people how they was going underground. There was like a whole bunch of people in the RVs talking about how saying, "Oh, like we moving underground now." Now the great alien theory that's matching up from people where they, like she said, they call it P-47s and P-52s. Like they come from the future, but they're underground, bro. So it lines up perfectly, man. What do you guys think, Seekers?
What up, y'all? Check out the acting here, you heard? I'm gonna keep on bringing this shit back.
A lot of injuries
Y'all
this
don't want to
season.
believe people that be exposing all the acting. This dude supposedly is out for the season due to this shit right here. Is this shit real? Put me on. Is this a real clip? Is this shit AI? Is this edited?
Nah.
Come on, y'all. The NBA is so bad, they can't even teach these motherfuckers how to be better actors, yo. For real, this shit is sad.
I think it's legit
We're
though.
comparing the photos of Earth from the Artemis photo shoot to a photo shoot that was taken 54 years ago from the Apollo 17 mission. And people are wondering, what is going on? Because Earth looks completely washed out versus the photo from 54 years ago looks rich in color and absolutely beautiful. People think that something bad has happened to our planet. But what really is going on is the Apollo 17 used actual film cameras, which naturally boost the color and contrast, and the Artemis team decided to use a Nikon D5 digital camera. So it's just not going to give it the same color and look. And when they took that shot 54 years ago, the sun was perfectly lighting Earth, making it look beautiful and blue, whereas the Artemis photo was taken at an angle where the sun was actually partially behind Earth, kind of washes it out a little bit. And since the Artemis has been posting photos from space, a lot of photos that look like this of the moon are being posted by different photographers that make it look absolutely delicious. But they are real photos that have been altered, and we are still waiting for the actual photos from the Artemis of the moon, which will take place on April 6th during a planned multi-hour lunar flyby of the moon's surface. That's all the space news we have for now, but I'll keep you guys up to date.
I'm gonna check out those photos when they drop them. Hopefully, man, they drop them. Somebody make a clip of it and we can watch it together, man. But there was, like I said, noticeable differences between those two pictures. Like I said, 1972, the Earth looks vibrant, radiant. Now it just looks like, bro. It looks like, man, Earth it been through some things, man. That's crazy, bro.
Trapping you in Canada as well. You can't leave without paying taxes. I'm telling you, they're going to do this in California. They're already waiting for the vote to happen this fall. They're going to do it in all of these liberal states. They're talking about doing it now in New York. Go ahead, you can leave, but you're leaving your money here. These people think it's their money. They think your life is theirs. They think that they have a right to tell you where you can live, how you can work, where to take or invest your money. They don't have any of those rights. It's happening here in America at a record rate. Imagine if we lose the House and the Senate, and then imagine we lose the presidency. We have got to stick together. Every single oar has to be rowing in the same direction.
This kid fucking jumped off! Oh my God! Oh, bye-bye!
Unfortunately, this was the last time Cameron Robbins was ever seen alive. Just hours earlier, he had been celebrating his graduation with friends on a trip to the Bahamas, surrounded by music, laughter, and the kind of carefree energy that comes with finishing school. Everything about that night felt normal, like a moment he would remember for the rest of his life. Then in a split second, it all changed. Cameron accepted a dare and climbed over the railing of the boat before jumping into the ocean below. At first, people around him didn't seem too worried, and a life preserver was quickly thrown into the water as others began shouting for him to swim back. But something didn't feel right. Instead of heading toward the buoy, Cameron suddenly started swimming in the opposite direction, as if he had seen something in the water. In the footage, there's a brief moment where something appears to move nearby, but it's impossible to clearly identify what it is, and then he disappeared. The crew immediately launched emergency procedures, and search teams spent hours scanning the ocean, followed by an extensive multi-day search. But Cameron was never found. To this day, no one can say for certain what happened in those final moments, and that uncertainty is what continues to haunt everyone who has seen that video.
Think, man, before you act, bro. A simple dare, well, not simple. Somebody go overboard on a moving cruise. Somebody hit me with a dare like that. I look at them like they freaking 10 times the crazies, bro. Hell no, man. What are they doing to our clouds, bro? Did he just make a cloud? A full-on cloud machine. And he controlling it.
People are saying those aren't even shoes. In the video, an interviewer approaches two people in strange outfits. At first, it looks like a fashion performance, but the closer he gets, the more everything feels wrong. One of them turns and shows exaggerated teeth and blue hair that doesn't look natural, like it isn't even growing from a scalp just attached to the head. And standing beside them is someone in high heels, but people online keep saying it doesn't. it look like shoes at all. It looks fused to the skin like it's part of the body with no clear separation, and the camera keeps pushing in like it's trying to understand what it's seeing, but nothing feels normal. The woman says, "It's just shoes," but hesitates. And that moment makes everything more suspicious. And suddenly the video stops feeling like fashion and starts feeling like something no one can explain.
Congress officially mandated that by 2027, every single new car has to have cameras that watch your eyes, and your car can literally decide if you're allowed to drive or not.
What?
So this is not a bill and it is not a proposal. It was actually already signed into law back in 2021. Every single new car sold in America by 2027 has to have infrared cameras on your steering column.
Every vehicle manufactured is going to have a kill switch in it. The car itself will monitor your driving, and if the car thinks that you're not doing a good job driving, it will disable itself.
They're saying that these cameras would not only just track your eye movement, but also your pupil size and your head position the entire time you're driving. If the camera decides that you're impaired, it can prevent the car from starting, or it can slow you down mid-drive. Hello? The agency that's in charge of this entire thing just told Congress that the technology isn't even ready yet because there has been so many mistakes. Even at 99.9% accuracy of this software, millions of sober drivers would be locked out of their own car every single year. Your car could literally shut you out of it because of sunlight or because you looked away for 1 second. So that's the problem. There is no federal opt-out, and Congress is literally fighting about it right now to decide whether or not they're going to keep it or end it. So the question really is, do you guys want this to be a thing or no?
No, I don't think so. Because it's not just gonna just stay there, man. That could turn into something else, bro. Just, they already had the technology to watch us, but now in the cars, I mean, there could be some good for it, but bro, you guys know, man, they just can't stop. They just can't stop right there, man. They're gonna use that and apply that to something else, bro. That's crazy, man, that vote actually went through, bro. Be prepared 2027, man, for those kill switch cars, bro. Better buy a car before 2027, though, man.
You see it, you cannot unsee it. All these flat mountaintops that we see all over the world, they were once giant trees, and I'm going to prove it to you guys. This is so obvious. Now, the examples of this are all over the world, but one thing that really stands out to me is the water that always flows down these flat mountaintops. And when you cut down a tree, the root system of that tree is still carrying water to the top of the tree. So most times, you're going to see water gush out of these trees that are cut. A lot of arborists notice this. They notice when you cut these trees down, water will start gushing out from these trees. In the book of Enoch, something that was removed from our Bible in the Council of Nicaea when they decided what can go in and what can't in order to, enslave the masses, it talks about God setting down the fallen angels to cut down the giant trees to flood out the Nephilim. This is why all over the world we see these flat mountaintops quite literally used to be giant trees. And these trees would reach the heavens. They would supply the earth with so much oxygen that everything was massive. This is where all the giants came from, the Nephilim, everything, because of these trees. This begs the question, why would they lie to us about this? Why would they tell us that these are just simple mountains when they know that these were giant trees?
If I had a
To deceive us.
and I needed relief, I would not use these two popular cough drops. Let's start with Ricola. This looks clean, but we read the ingredients. The first inactive ingredient is caramel color. That is an artificial color which is usually derived from petroleum. The dreaded natural flavor. That is usually synthetic flavorings. Then you got 2 forms of sugar. Next we got Halls. This is the honey lemon flavor. Contains soy. There's flavors in here which is synthetic flavorings, glucose syrup, sucralose which is an artificial sweetener, as well as sucrose which is sugar. Cough and throat relief with so many junk ingredients. Absolutely not. So the solution is Propolis Soothing Lozenges from Beekeepers Naturals. It contains real vitamin D, zinc, and bee propolis. And propolis is a bee product known as the defender of the hive. Contains powerful antioxidants, polyphenols, and flavonoids. These lozenges are made with nature-powered ingredients. They're all clean. No natural flavors, no junk. So soothe your cough and throat the right way and follow the channel for way more content.
Seekers. Like, when you actually pick up a product, do you look at the back and see what's in it? Even I'm guilty of it as well, so I can't, pretend I'm one of those people who do it, man. But now I'm watching these clips, I definitely, like I said, I have to do it more, man. You really have to know what you're putting into your body. Those freaking cough drops, they're not ready to be freaking healthy. They were just synthetic food colorings. So next time you pick up something, seekers, just check out the label. Read what you're putting into your body.
Because a week of groceries for only $5. God bless America. What the do you mean Doritos are $7 now? Okay, somebody get Pepsi on the phone. So you're saying you bag my groceries for me? That is some grade A service. Why is this asking for a tip? I bagged it myself. I can get red Jello or I can get green Jello. Gosh, that is too many options. How many types of milk are there? Oat, soy, almond? Where's cow? Now remember, if we buy this food, we have to eat it before it spoils on Thursday. How does this expire in 2047?
Freeze.
What are they putting you? Jeepers, they're putting Olympians on the cover of the Wheaties box. Which means if we eat it, we'll get strong too. Okay, why the hell is Ice Spice on the Pop-Tarts box? Honey, when you look at this, Campbell's soup now comes with 80% more lead for the same price. Now that's a bargain. This is actually true. They did eat lead. But let's be honest. Microplastics? So much better. Looky here at this magnificent fruit section. Apples, bananas, and they even have oranges. How exotic. What the is a durian? And why does it smell like Honey, I have already gone above and beyond by going shopping with you, so I expect dinner to be top-notch. God, I am tired from all that shopping. You want Postmates dinner?
Really? That looked like a ghost.
Look at this, look at this, look at this. What is going on right here? Frogs with reptilian people. Reptilian people. What an imagination they had in the 1700s. So we've seen dragons. Now we've seen reptile people. Who does that represent? Are they Irish? I'm Irish. I've never seen a reptilian. Come on, man. Make it make sense. Come on, King Henry, King Louis, whoever it is. Yeah? Explain this to me. They say it in the comment section. Who are these reptilian people? So look, the second row means defiance. This, it's the transformation into the reptilian people. That's what it said. Then they said the bottom rank is their humiliation. Come on, man. Let's get into it. This lady's like scared for her life. This person has 1, 2, 3, 4 fingers.
Yep.
What is it, like the AI version? Look at that right there. Demonic.
Shapeshifting.
Come on, man. 1600s, 1700s? Was microdosing even invented yet? What were these people on? Reptilians? Come on, man. This thing is wild. And who are these people? Come on, why are they asking for help? Come on, man. What is the story they're telling us? Not trying to tell us. Straight up, tell us, man.
Yep.
Make it make sense. Listen, man, I always say they rub it right in our face, right? You kiss a toad, it turns into a prince, right? And then they always talk about the reptilian people. They're right there, And then the lower row, chat said it's for humiliation. What do we talk about now? Diddy and all that, what happened, the humiliation process. LeBron James, when they made him wear a dress. Humiliation process of the elites. And where are we? At a castle, a Roman structure in France. 95% Roman stuff, 5% French. Make it make sense. They rub it in our face. The lion's the king of the jungle. He doesn't live in the jungle. Kiss a frog. They'll turn into your prince. Humiliation factors. Come on, man. It's in our face the whole time. We're in some sort of movie, simulation. I don't know what it is. I can't explain it. I just wanted to make it make sense.
Foil hat theory. Someone made a decision inside our government that the optics of killing dozens of scientists outweighed whatever information they were going to tell us. I think it's one of two things. Either an asteroid is heading towards Earth, and they know with certainty it's going to impact us sometime in the near future, and they just want everyone to keep working so society doesn't collapse until then. Or they know something about aliens that would absolutely shatter our perception of reality. Maybe we're an ant farm. Maybe we're a science experiment. and our government knows it. Or maybe the aliens are working inside our government. Either way, I think it's hard to make an argument against the fact that these scientists knew something that would absolutely fuck shit up.
What do you guys think, man, that those scientists know? The only thing I'm piecing together from, these missing scientists, man, that they were working on something. Amy Eskridge, she was working on something called zero gravity free energy that was going to give free energy to everybody. Just crazy, man. You guys think it's all a coincidence? Or is it really something else going down? Like you said, man. Did they do an asteroids coming, aliens, bro, watching the Earth? Or were they pet project? Many possibilities.
Energy is never created or destroyed, and there's more people on Earth now than there was back then, and the energy per capita could have been way higher, and that energy could have translated into letting people do way more stuff with the same looking body, but way more energetically charged brain, letting you move things with your brain.
We talked about before, could the early humans have had like telepathy of sorts? Like that was the universal language.
Scientists speculate that it was the evolution of verbal language that got rid of telepathy.
It makes sense. Gen Z has reduced complex vernacular down to sa.
I would call that a higher intelligence.
That's what I'm saying. Higher intelligence? As technology increases and learning increases, the language is dissipating.
Or just the little nod you get when you walk past a guy in the...
How it's
Bro, I do that.
Power have to warn us all before they actually do something to help with the laws of karma. Well, check this out. Was it an evil movie and I actually never even got to it? This came out like 9 years ago. Pretty freaking on point, yeah?
Two skeletons are sparking debate on the internet. Some ways it feels right, in some ways it feels wrong. Thing is off about the human skeleton and people are noticing it. Some people swear that the human body used to look more like this, but today it looks more like this. But here's where it gets weird. People are split, but not randomly. The people who say the right one looks more familiar usually says things like this. The rib cage looks simpler, not like the diagrams we grew up learning in school. Pelvis shape seems more natural and less complex. Don't remember seeing the center chest bone as clearly. The body looked cleaner and less detailed. Same people also admit that something's off. Why do the ribs look so disconnected? Why are there missing bones in the legs? Why does it feel right at first, but the longer you look at it, it feels off? Then you have the other side saying that this version is biologically impossible. Without a sternum, your ribcage wouldn't stabilize. Missing bones in the fibula that would affect how we walk. The skeleton doesn't match human evolution and how joints actually work. It looks more simplified than a real body. Okay, but then you have the current version, and this is what people are saying. Matches medical diagrams and real anatomy. You can literally feel your sternum in your chest. This skeleton actually supports movement, breathing, and actual organ protection. But even here, people still are saying something is strange. How does the rib cage look more complex than what they remember? Why are there ribs that don't fully connect? Why does the spacing look different than old diagrams that we grew up on? Why does the skeleton look more detailed than what we were taught? So now we're stuck with the question, what is the real difference? Does our brain just remember a simpler version of something that we didn't really study that off? Look at both again. Don't overthink it. Which one feels right? It's us.
See, because which skeleton look more right to you? The left or the right, bro? I think I'm gonna have to go with the left, man. Did you guys ever have freaking a skeleton like your science class going up, bro? Did it freak you out, man? It did to me for a couple of times, bro. Like I said, maybe, human evolution. That's why I guess the skeletons, they be changing over the times. That's my only guess. Or is it, well, like you say, that's a Mandela effect, man, and we just didn't pick up on it until now.
It's now adding barricades in their stores. Look at this.
What the hell am I sold? Do you see this? America? Or, actually Europe, if you're not in America.
Interesting. You got Kroger doing it too. Look at this.
Kroger. And that is a barricade on that end. And when you turn this way, that is also a barricade. And so,
why?
So it's like the...
So
like the bathing area.
There's a door there to enter.
Shampoo
and this
stuff.
Entire wellness section is barricaded off within the store. That is so wild to me.
What's up with that? Why do you guys think that's happening?
So my daughter brought home one of these viral squishy dumplings the other day, and I noticed a very, very strong smell coming off of that. So, went ahead, got two of my own, put them in a bag with a VOC meter as a little experiment, just to see what I would get. And to be quite honest, I did not think it would be this bad. We're at a serious level. VOCs are in the 6.7 in the 6s range, milligrams per meters cubed. This is a children's toy meant for kids ages 3 and up. I'm in Canada, and Health Canada is supposed to be regulating this stuff. It's still going up. So these are coming out of China. They're obviously not getting tested. I've already sent an email to Health Canada about this. Keep in mind, things like paint, anything is regulated so that this doesn't happen. Okay? And this is a children's toy, so the quality should be even better. 3 and up is what the box says, ages 3 and up. Kids are putting these up to their faces, in their mouths, they're busting them, the filling's coming out and going all over the place. Keep in mind, this is what the ambient air quality of my house looks like. Much, much different, as you can see. Crazy. And just as a control, this is where we're at with a empty bag, because all plastic products are gonna release some type of VOCs, but as you can see, we're still in the green here. And this is out of the bag, meter sitting on top. As you can see, we're going up, continuing to go up, and this is again outside the bag, so. Children's toy for ages 3 and up. I think we're about leveled off there, but we're definitely in the red, as you can see. Getting a little closer to 2 milligrams per meters cubed, but you get my point. And just for fun, we're gonna hold the meter over a literal can of paint. We spiked up a bit and then came back down a little, but do you want your children's toy to be less safe than a can of paint from the hardware store?
In Japan,
to get that.
wrong order. Follow to learn something new every day.
Dared to climb up a ship anchor, unaware it would be the biggest mistake of his life, because when he swam toward it and started climbing up, he realized the chain was too steep and he was stuck. He tried to climb back down, but suddenly the ship started moving and he fell into the water. When he came up, he realized the ship was moving away and he was stranded. He tried to swim back to his boat, but before he could, he felt something beneath him, and when he looked down, he was completely surrounded by sharks.
Whoa. Why would he even freaking dive off a boat with the chain anchor anyway, man? Now he's surrounded by sharks. Hell no, bro. I read some comments talking about the saying that those sharks are harmless, but you taking that risk? Because I'm not.
So you're telling me that this whole time you're brushing them shits every day and still might have this in your mouth right now? In that little yellow line, that's not normal, and it's actually plaque starting to build up aggressively in the mouth. You still brushing, but you ain't removing it, and it's getting thicker by the day. It grows daily, sitting right between those teeth.
Yep.
Like it's paying rent, stinking up the place. This is actually what happens when you keep skipping the steps. Toothbrush alone don't work. You need Google under all pulling products, or to set up a dentist appointment.
Bro, anyone else catching this before? Look at that red-ass sun. Look at this.
Oh my God, I don't know if the world finna blow up or if this is like good luck, but I'm going to the casino tonight. Oh my grandma's sure I'm going to the casino.
Bro.
Get you some money, hustle up.
Let me show y'all what people are catching in Florida, man. This is in Tallahassee, bro. Look at this, bro. Does that look familiar to y'all?
Yeah, bro.
Look at this shit. Bro, look at that. It isn't me, but does that up here mirror what's in the sun? Y'all see that? Look at this. Hold on. Y'all see that junk up here, bro? Why it look like it's inside of the sun, too? Y'all see that? Look at this. Why does that sun look like Jupiter, bro? Don't it look like Jupiter? And don't it look like it have another sun behind it? Look. Why? Look at this. So be honest, y'all. Do that look 93 million miles away, man? Everything is a damn lie, man. Hold on. But why does it look like Jupiter with the hot spot? Look at that, man. So y'all do know that the sun is local, right? And planets are not what they have been telling us, right? Y'all do know that, right?
What do you think the planets are? They lights? Is it like, it's not like dirt or like, the planets are like Mars isn't like dirt?
Not at all. So they're not landing Mars rovers on Mars, right?
Not at all. Okay.
Not at all. What are they doing?
It's fake.
Well, what they're doing is they're going to places like Greenland with very, very exotic
landscape and they're making it look like it, and then they're colouring it to look red and what have you. Wikipedia, if you go to Wikipedia, which I'm here now, and you look up under Saturn, in the first sentence it will tell you that Saturn is a gas giant. And then you go to Jupiter and it tells you that Jupiter is a gas giant. And then you ask what the sun is, they say it's hydrogen and helium. Well, that's gas. Why is Venus or Mars or the moon where they landed, why is it an exception? You can see with your own eyes that it's a light. Ptolemy, for thousands of years before the Jesuit Copernicus turned up and made a spinning ball, was saying all of the 7 planets are entirely luminous. There it is. They're portals.
So we're in the age of Aquarius, man, which is the age of knowledge, man. Y'all gotta be open-minded, man, because again, everything we were taught were lies. Everything was erased and rewritten, man. Planets are not what they told us they were. Break down the word planet. It's plan ET, plan extraterrestrial. This is why it's always about the fallen angels and the aliens and the extraterrestrials, because they're the ones that plan all of this, bro. We're literally in a simulation of Matrix. But I can't see this in Florida because my skies are completely grayed out for the past 2 days. Anyone else see this in Florida, Tallahassee? Let me know that in the comments below, man. The shit is here, bro. We're in the midst of it. Let's continue.
Let's talk about one of the most haunted dolls in North America. Before I display him, I highly suggest you comment that you claim no negative energy in this video. Now, before I start, Robert, I respect you, and all I am doing is telling your story.
We respect
in the late
Robert.
1800s, Thomas Otto and his family moved into a mansion in Key West, Florida. The Ottos were known to be stern with their servants, sometimes even mistreating them. There was a woman who was hired to take care of their son Robert, and one day Mrs. Otto supposedly witnessed her practicing black magic in their backyard and fired her. Before she left, the woman gave Robert a lifelike doll which stood 3 feet tall, had buttons for eyes, and human hair believed to be Robert's. Soon after, Robert chose to be referred by his middle name, Gene, after being scolded by his mother. He told her that Robert was the doll's name, not his. Gene was often heard in his toy room having conversations with Robert. Household objects would be found thrown across the room. Gene's toys turned up mutilated and giggling could be heard. Robert supposedly attacked people, sometimes locking them in the attic. One certain night, Robert was found at the foot of the owner's bed, giggling with a kitchen knife in hand. Robert was later moved to the East Martello Museum in Key West, where he sits perched in a glass box to this day. One employee cleaned Robert, turned off all the lights, and left for the night. The next day, he returned to find lights turned on and Robert sitting in a different position than the night before, and a fresh layer of dust on his shoes. Some say he'll even curse you. If you want to take a picture of him, you may ask politely. He'll tilt his head in permission. Now I just want to say again, Robert, I respect you, and I am just trying to tell more people about your story. Have you seen Robert in person? Have you ever had any experiences with him? Let me know in the comments.
Stay away from Robert, man. Looks like I have some bad energy.
SpongeBob night. SpongeBob. Liam, come here. Liam, right now. What is happening? Okay, I'm calling your mom. Just stay right here. Cheese. Cheese. What you doing? What you see?
Papa.
What you see? Who are you saying hi to? Who are you saying hi to? Dude, you need to stop that. You're freaking me out. Come on.
He said, hi, Papa, hi. I mean, you know, sometimes, like I said, kids, people be thinking they're talking to, like, that. I guess they're imaginary friends or something like that. But what happens if, man, if they're really talking to, like, a spirit, or they be seeing spirits? That's an interesting thing I'm gonna propose to you guys. What do you guys think? Cooking on that one.
Spirits in my head and they won't go. I got guns in my head and they won't go. Spirits in my head and they won't go. I got guns in my head.
Classic.
And they won't go. Spirits in my head and they won't go. I got guns in my head and they won't go. Spirits in my head and they won't go. I got guns in my head and they won't go.
Don't ever
never stay up past midnight again, especially during a sleepover. This, my friends, is the Midnight Clown. Click the plus, drop a like, tag a friend, share it through. He might show up at your house tonight. He's an absolutely insane, vindictive clown, targeting kids who are having sleepovers. Kids being distracted, he ends up killing the parents. Then when the kids come downstairs to use the bathroom, they notice their parents. And then all of them are never seen again. And I actually just reacted to a video of people ordering a clown off the dark web. The first 100 people to click the link in my bio, subscribe, like, and comment on that video will get a shout out. Good luck, my friends.
You go to clowns off the dark web? That's news to me. What the hell is going on there? There's really a market for everything and anything, man. Who wants to buy a clown off the dark web of that? I had no idea. You know what that is.
Rare photos of fascinating people through history. This was Jacques Plante, the first goalie in hockey to ever wear a protective face mask in 1959, and I think you can see why. In 1964, Randy Gardner set the world record for the longest time without sleep, staying awake for 264 hours. The objects that are next to him were used to prove that he was still lucid. This was Maurice Tillett, a wrestler known as the French Angel. Some say he inspired Shrek, and he went undefeated for 18 months in the early 1940s. In 1907, this swimmer, Annette Kellerman, was arrested for indecency for wearing this exact bathing suit at Revere Beach in Massachusetts. This is Brumasia Gelgi, the world's tallest woman at just over 7 feet. This was Valentine Tapley, who vowed in 1860 to never cut his beard if Lincoln was elected. Here he is in 1896. He placed 5th in a world's longest beard competition. They had some long beards back then, apparently. Oh my goodness. This was Albert Woolson, the last surviving Civil War veteran. He fought for the Union Army and died in 1956 at 106 years old. This was Ham, the chimpanzee, the first ape launched into space. His mission tested cognitive function and safety. It was successful, and he actually returned unharmed. This was Charlotte and Marjorie Collier, a mother and daughter who survived the Titanic. Charlotte's husband and Marjorie's father, Harvey, died in the wreck, and they also lost their life savings of 5,000 pounds in cash.
These are human body parts that may disappear in the future. First up is body hair. Originally, it protected ancient humans from harsh weather conditions. However, over time, with modern clothes and changes in environmental conditions, human body hair has significantly decreased and continues to do so. Many scientists believe it might eventually completely disappear. Next are wisdom teeth. They used to serve an evolutionary purpose for ancient humans who had much rougher diets and needed more chewing power. But our diets have softened and our jaws have become increasingly smaller. As a result, they have no space to properly grow in, and many people need to have them surgically removed. Many babies are now being born without wisdom teeth, and scientists believe this will eventually be the standard. Finally, we have male nipples. Everyone starts as female in the womb, and before the Y chromosome kicks in for males, nipples have already formed. When the baby becomes male, the prolactin levels decrease, making the male nipples non-functional. So while it's debated, some scientists think they'll disappear.
Rare people who
got male nipples gonna disappear now, bro? Could you guys even imagine that, bro? I'm thinking, imagine that, man. That would look like nightmare fuel to me. I just can't even imagine that. That's freaking screwed up my mind. But we evolving. So I guess that's what comes with it.
who are unique in the world. First, this 11-year-old Mexican girl has an IQ higher than Einstein's. Meet Adhara Perez. At just 11 years old, Adhara Perez Sanchez has an impressive record and an IQ that surpasses that of Einstein, as well as Stephen Hawking, whom she has always admired. Diagnosed with autism at the age of 3, Adhara started speaking late. Her teachers did not have high expectations for her future. However, thanks to her academic progress, she completed elementary school at the age of 5 and high school at 8. At 9 years old, she gave a lecture on black holes at an event organized by the Institute of Art and Culture of Mexico City, and published a book in which she shared her experience as a high-functioning autistic child, dedicated to children who suffer from the same condition as her. She has also been recognized by Forbes as one of the 100 most influential women in Mexico. Adhara is pursuing a master's degree in mathematical engineering at the Technological University of Mexico City. She is passionate about the cosmos and the stars. She dreams of joining NASA and participating in the exploration
of the planet Mars. She also plans to design a connected bracelet capable of detecting emotions and preventing epileptic seizures.
This girl married
She
her
can
family
accomplish all that and more.
while pregnant with her ex-husband's baby, and then proceeded to become the first empress of Rome. Meet Livia Drusilla, or simply Livia. Now let me explain. Livia was born in a very important family. She belonged to the patrician gens of the Claudi. She's still a child when Julius Caesar has his rise to power, and she's about 16 when he gets. At 17, her father marries her off to Tiberius Claudius Nero. At that time, we have Mark Antony and Octavian that are determined to A, vindicate Julius Caesar, and B, through that, gain power. So she marries Tiberius Claudius Nero, and as soon as she gets married, she sees him off to war. Why? Because at the time, we have Mark Antony and Octavian on one side, who are fighting against the people that Caesar, Brutus, and Cassius. Both Livia's father and Livia's husband fight with Brutus and Cassius against Octavian and Mark Antony. So her family, and probably herself, really hate this guy over here. Octavian wins, Brutus and Cassius get. Livia, in the meantime, has her first child. She's definitely not happy about the situation. Together with her husband, she's forced to flee Rome to avoid the recrimination of Octavian against his enemies. They go to Sicily, where her husband supports yet another of Octavian's opponents, Sextus Pompeius. After that, she's forced to move to Greece. So by now, she's probably like this, absolutely not amused, being like, this guy Octavian is literally ruining my life. She's never seen him, but she sure hates him. Eventually, an agreement is reached between Octavian and Sextus Pompeius. A general amnesty is announced. That means no recriminations of any sort. It means that Livia can finally return to Rome. And here's where the war movie turns into a rom-com. Because as soon as Octavian, the man that her husband has been fighting against all this while, sees her, he falls for her instantly. But there's a problem, she's married. And there's another problem, he's married as well. Follow for part 2.
There's a part 2 to that? What the heck? I was getting a good history lesson right there, man. Thinking about ancient Rome and all that. I've been watching like some of the Gladiator series that was by Stars. Some people call it like the first Game of Thrones. What is it called? It's called Spartacus, yeah. I just wanted to let you guys know that.
2025 just got even crazier. Part 17. The Statue of Liberty was a gift from France, if you didn't know. But in 2025, a French lawmaker came out and claimed they want the Statue of Liberty back and said, we gave it to you as a gift, but apparently you despise it. It will be just fine here at home. Now, people online saw this and said, we'll give the Statue of Liberty back, but in return, we get the Eiffel Tower. Oh my goodness. Next, when a delivery driver went to Starbucks to get hot tea, one of the hot venti-sized drinks fell onto the delivery driver's lap. Well, the man has now been awarded $50 million in damages from Starbucks because of the burns from the drink. America has a new...
Freaking fit. Could you guys imagine burns on that nigga damn legs like that? What the heck is going on? How can someone just spill that, man? At least you got justice, bro. $50 million. You got his justice.
Gun, and it's one that uses facial recognition and fingerprint scanners. It's called the BioFire Smart Gun. It's the first to actually hit the market, and it's more controversial than you think. You see, to try and push for more firearm safety, this gun only works when its registered owner scans their face or their fingerprint, and the gun locks and becomes unusable as soon as it leaves their hand. It's also trickier to build one of these than you think, because it's not just a gun with a fingerprint scanner slapped on the top. It's actually the first gun ever to not rely on a physical trigger mechanism, but rather it sends an electrical signal to fire the bullets, and it can only get that signal if it's in the owner's hands. But also because of that, it's roughly twice the price at $1,500. Gun control advocates think it's a great idea, saying at least it can't be used in the wrong hands like a child or a criminal. But some firearm enthusiasts not so keen. They fear that this technology could malfunction when you need it the most, or could be used as a slippery slope for more gun control laws over time. The question is, what do you guys think? Is this the gun that America needs, or not?
This is the disturbing truth behind Home Alone. Okay, so we all know and love the movie Home Alone. But did you know the disturbing truth behind it? So, Kevin McAllister grows up to be Jigsaw in the Saw franchise. If you think about it, the traps that Kevin made in Home Alone were extremely sophisticated and advanced, especially for a kid. So, as he got older, his traps became way more brutal, twisted, and complex as an adult. So, Kevin McAllister is actually Jigsaw.
And he fell in love putting people in traps ever since the robbers tried to rob his house.
Okay, that one was kind of at my mind turning because I can kind of see that we know it's a theory, man, but you know, like I said, Jigsaw Saw, he loves his traps, man. Home Alone Kevin, he loves his traps also, man. So I definitely see some of the similarities between those two men, but I think that theory is kind of out there. And didn't they just announce like a couple of days ago that they're not making a new Saw movie, like it got canceled. So I don't know, man. That theory is kind of hard for me to get on, but I can see the similarities though. Maybe he got inspired by him, man.
Top 3 strangest ways that people have died. Most people know what a Segway is. They came out just under 20 years ago, and they're basically a giant hoverboard with handles. And in 2009, a man bought Segway Inc. and became the CEO. And unfortunately, just 1 year later, in 2010, he fell off a cliff while on his own Segway while demonstrating its safety procedures. Coming in at number 2, we have the execution of George, the Duke of Clarence. He was the brother of 2 English kings and was sentenced to death in 1478. However, his only request for his execution is that he was to be drowned by a barrel of wine, which goes to show just how much he loved his drinks. And at number 1, the strangest way that somebody has ever died happened in 2013. In the middle of the night, a Brazilian man was fast asleep when a cow fell through his roof and crushed him. And apparently, according to local media of the town, this is the 3rd time that this has happened. Weird.
Cows falling from the sky?
Report at the hospital, there were several missed opportunities where the consultants went to, in some form or another, a meeting, an email, a conversation where they were raising these concerns.
Arguably 15, 20 times they went to managers and flagged their concerns. And not only were they being dismissed, these external reports were being established that were, never going to get to the bottom of why the children were unexpectedly collapsing and dying. We know that now with hindsight. But they were also, by the end, being victimised, bullied. The doctors were actually looking for new jobs. Some of them, their mental health, really suffered because they felt this burden. Should we as individuals have gone to the police early?
This is one of the heartbreaking true stories that likely inspired adolescents. When actor and writer Stephen Graham was asked about stories that inspired the show, he said, "Where it came from for me is there was an incident in Liverpool, a young girl, she was unalived to death by a young boy, and I just thought, why?" It's being reported that he was likely referring to the high-profile case of Ava White. Ava White was an innocent 12-year-old girl who lost her life after attending a Christmas light switch on in Liverpool city centre. She was reportedly approached by a group of teenage boys, and a verbal argument broke out after one of the boys apparently filmed her without her permission and put the video on Snapchat. After Ava asked for the video to be removed from Snapchat, one of the boys, who was aged 14 at the time, unalived her with a knife. I'm sorry I have to use this strange lingo on TikTok, I just don't want to have the video flagged. The schoolboys were all questioned by police, but ultimately it was decided that one of the boys, a 14-year-old, was guilty of taking her life. The young boy who was found guilty of taking Ava's life was sentenced to a minimum of 13 years. One of the similarities between adolescence and this heartbreaking true story is that the boy that was found guilty actually maintained that he was innocent right up until the end. But it wasn't just this story alone that inspired the show. Stephen Graham also said there's a number of stories he's seen on the news about young boys being violent towards young girls that did inspire the story. He also specifically mentions the case of Brianna Gay, who was lured into a park by 2 teenagers and unalived. He said, "I just thought, what's going on and what is happening?"
Facts that might save your life one day.
Surely.
Alright, so if a person you don't know shows up to your house and asks for help in the middle of the night, do not open the door, especially if you're a girl alone, because human traffickers tend to use these tactics to lure girls outside. So just make sure all your doors are locked and call the police straight away. Next, if you ever feel like something bad is about to happen, trust your guts and just leave, because in most cases you might be right. Now, if you're ever involved involved in a plane crash and it crashes in the ocean, whatever you do, do not inflate your life jacket. Instead, wait until you're outside the plane, because if you inflate it while you're inside, you could get trapped inside as the water level rises. And finally, if you were ever to go homeless during winter, do not sleep on the ground, because people have literally frozen to death that way. Instead, try to find some cardboard pieces and sleep on that, because the ground itself absorbs way more heat than cardboard.
We learning. Those are some interesting facts, man. Especially while on the plane about not having, you know, life jacket. I didn't even know something like that could happen. You could get trapped in there by the water. Fun fact, I still have never flown on a plane before. And what's going on now? I don't think I will anytime soon. Get out of you guys, man.
This video will keep you up at night. A man was working as a security guard at a warehouse during his night shift, and he began to feel a little creeped out when weird things started going on in the warehouse around him. He was the only one in the warehouse, and it was about 2:30 in the morning. So he brought out his phone in hopes to catch something unexplainable on camera. At first, the video he took seems pretty normal. There's absolutely nothing weird going on. But when he pans over to the food he brought, the apple moves on its own. He goes to reach for his apple, but right when he does this, the cup on his desk seemingly moves on its own. The man is obviously pretty frightened by this and doesn't know how to react. But when he goes to grab the cup, it again moves on its own away from his hand. Many people believe that this is staged, however, it looks pretty real. What do you guys think?
Here are some accidents that changed the world forever. A scientist left a dirty Petri dish on his desk, came back days later, and then realized the mold inside had just killed bacteria, accidentally discovering antibiotics. A radar engineer felt a strange heat in his pocket, looked down and saw that his chocolate bar was melting. He had just invented the microwave. A chemist trying to make a super strong glue ended up with one so weak it barely stuck, but years later, that failure became Post-it notes. A naval engineer dropped a metal spring, watched it bounce perfectly down a flight of stairs, and turned that mistake into the Slinky. A physicist experimenting with electricity saw his own bones glowing through his hand, and before he even knew what it was, he had discovered X-rays. A man pulled furs off his dog's fur, realized nature had built the perfect hook and loop system, and turned it into Velcro. A scientist building a heart monitor grabbed the wrong part, made the circuit pulse, and unknowingly created the first pacemaker. An ice cream vendor ran out of cups, spotted a waffle maker next to him, and rolled one into a cone, changing ice cream forever. Two astronomers kept hearing annoying static in their telescope, thought it was bird poop, and accidentally found proof of the Big Bang. A company selling wallpaper cleaner was going bankrupt until they realized kids were playing with it, so they rebranded it as Play-Doh. A scientist knocked a coated glass flask onto the floor, watched it crack but not shatter, and accidentally invented safety glass. A chemist absorbed an experimental chemical through his skin, started hallucinating, and unknowingly discovered LSD. This is the scariest.
The LSD world, man. Imagine that never would have happened, man. I didn't realize so many of the greatest inventions, man, they came from this freak accidents or failures, and people just picked up with some of those ideas and just kept going. Goes to show you, man, there's success even in failures. Just gotta learn from them.
Story about the school trip. An entire class of 6th graders went on a school trip one day. Everybody was taking pictures with their phones and cameras and having such a great time. But when they all got back to school, they started looking through all the photos they took, when suddenly one of the girls screamed, "Oh my God, what is that?" In the picture, one of the boys in the class was sitting on the bus, and nothing seemed strange about the photo until you looked at his reflection in the window. His face in the reflection looked like it was yellow and bulging, and completely mutating. Also, there was a white floating figure behind him in the reflection. Everybody turned the photo upside down and realized it was a human skull, and it was horrific. And when the boy saw the photo of himself, he immediately burst into tears and had a panic attack. The teacher then took the boy to the nurse's office, and the principal banned everybody from speaking about the strange photo ever again. And to make this even scarier, 7 days later, the boy died from a brain tumor. The photo is said to be on the internet somewhere, but I don't recommend looking for it. Can someone explain to me what happened to these trucks? Would you rather live here with unlimited food and no internet, or date the third person who appears when you click share and then more? This is supposedly footage of an alien abduction caught on CCTV.
Check it out. Just vanished. What the heck? Just plopped them back down.
Question time. How old would you be if your age was flipped backwards? Let me know down below. Should this family get rid of this doll or not?
It's what happens whenever I put her near my daughter's old Cabbage Patch doll. But that's not the weirdest part. There's no batteries.
What the hell's going on?
But wait, there's more. I even cut the wire to see if that would stop it. Is she causing this?
Yeah. You know we don't do dolls over here, man. House opera with no bed and he cut the wires? I don't know if that's staged or not, man. That was eerie. You know what that is.
Last month, 3 suitcases were discovered in Florida with human remains inside, and now a man has been arrested for his wife's murder. On July 21st, police in Delray Beach, Florida found a suitcase in the Intercoastal Waterway after someone called 911 to report something strange they saw in the waterway. This discovery, police found 2 more suitcases nearby, and the next day found 2 additional bags. Inside the suitcases and bags were human remains of a woman only described at the time as, quote, a white or Hispanic middle-aged woman with brown hair, approximately 5'4". The investigation into these suitcases led police to surveillance footage that then led them to a suspect. Multiple witnesses told detectives about a vehicle and person who was seen in the area multiple times before the suitcases were found. A couple who lived near where the suitcases were discovered told detectives they saw a white male looking into the Intercoastal Waterway several days before July 21st, the day the suitcase was found. They said he appeared to be looking for something, presumably the suitcase, and they saw him 5 to 6 times over a 3-day period before the 21st. When confronted by the couple, the man said he was waiting for the big boat to come into the harbor. Another group of witnesses who were working on a roof at a property next to where the 3rd suitcase was found said that they saw the same man standing on the seawall looking at the suitcase before he got into his car and left. Video surveillance in the area captured a vehicle tag that led them to their suspect, Delray Beach resident William Lowe, and he had a wife that matched the name that came back from an airline scan code on one of the suitcases. Adil Barbosa Fontes matched the brief description of the remains found in the suitcase, and she shared the same address as Lowe. This led police to acquire a search warrant for the home of 78-year-old Lowe. In searching his home, police found blood spatter throughout the residence, including in the living room, dining room, and primary bathroom. There were also drag marks observed throughout the home, and cleaning supplies that contained blood splatter were found as well. While they were executing the search warrant, detectives said that Lowe attempted to re-enter through the back window, and when he was stopped, he just said he was trying to get his phone and the keys to his storage unit. The search of that storage unit uncovered a chainsaw that appeared to have blood and human hair on it. After all of this, Lowe was arrested on July 31st. During questioning, he reportedly said that his wife Adil had been in Brazil for about 3 weeks. But when questioned further about her trip, he did not know how she got to the airport, what airline she flew on, or the last time he spoke to her. When shown photos of the suitcases, Lowe reportedly said he had never seen them before. But police knew at least one of them belonged to his wife because of the airline tag that had her name connected to it. And when they asked Lowe about this, he just said, "I don't know." Day after Lowe's arrest, the victim found in the suitcases was positively identified through dental records as Adil Barbosa Fontes. ME declared the manner of death to be homicide and the cause of death to be a gunshot wound to the head. The next day, Lowe was charged with first-degree murder and abuse of a dead body. He was denied bail and he has not yet entered a plea, so he remains in prison until his next hearing. Hopefully, he will have to pay for what he did. Rest in peace, Adil.
Chilling story. I don't know how a husband could do that to his own wife. You see some creepy clowns? You guys remember that creepy clown trend, man, on YouTube? That was a freaking time, bro. You risk your life in these streets, man, trying to dress up as a clown. It ain't worth it, man. These clowns are freaking eerie, bro. They posing for these pictures, too. Seekers, if you guys made it with me to the end of the video, you're a true seeker seeking the truth. I greatly appreciate your support. Make sure you guys leave a thumbs up in this video. Comment down below. Hit that post notification bell so you always get notified when I upload my next videos. You guys are going to catch me in the next one, man. I'm out. Thank you guys for all the support. Peace, YouTube.